and gentlemen of YouTube. This is Travis Semulin Sours. We are drafting on MTG Arena in the Premier Draft area. Figured out kind of what the issue was with my Strixhaven drafts in the past. It was not the drafting that was the problem, it was the gameplay. I was using heuristics, a rule of thumb, if you will, to kind of decide when to make plays, and it was catching me. So the drafting was still spot on. I think I was drafting good decks. I was just playing them like a 6-year-old with finger paints. So we're going to try to adjust that here. I'm also on a bit of a theory that I'm going to default to Lorehold if nothing else incredibly good is open. We're obviously taking the Crackle with power here. Like, in a perfect world, we would wheel Rise of Extus or Spirit Summoning. I don't think that's incredibly likely. And I'm not opposed to playing Prismari if it's open. I'm just saying, like, cards that make Lorehold tick, such as Lorehold Excavation, Reconstruct History, and even Divine Gambit are just cards people won't take. I don't really want Study Break, although we could play it. I don't think we'll wheel that. A lot of very aggressive decks are trying to play that. Academic Dispute I like quite a bit, but I think I actually like Guiding Voice more. The situation is like, how much do we want to force this? Because Guiding Voice is quite good in Lorehold. Academic Dispute is pretty good in Lorehold and pretty good in Prismari. And I'd very much like to play red if I can, so I guess the answer is we take the uncommon. If I'm fighting with people over Guiding Voices, things have gone horribly wrong. Pillar Drop Warden's pretty reasonable too, so is Piggy Storm. But a nice, cheap learn spell can open up a lot of things. We could even end up in Jeskai with something like this if we happen to get Environmental Sciences. All right, this is, again, very interesting. I think Snow Day is more something that Quandrix is interested in than Prismari, although you can play it. But I don't really see a reason to make that choice just yet, as the Ardent Dust Speaker is really good in Lorehold and pretty good in Prismari. So we're just, at this point, we're red. We don't really know what the other color is yet, and that's kind of okay. And here's kind of the, like, deciding point. But I think I want to hedge again and just take the Spirit Summoning. Spirit Summoning's not great. You're relatively happy to play it. Prismari Apprentice is kind of okay. Like, the unblockable damage is nice. But as many Lorehold Excavations that I've seen people passing, I kind of want to take the Campus or the Summoning. I'm going to take the Summoning, because we could still play that in Prismari. But yeah, they're just not, like, sure. But there's also this heated debate. Is there ever an argument for taking all the dragon approaches that you see? We'll have to see. I think I would probably take the Elemental Summoning if the Muse wasn't here. Like, we drafted a Prismari deck a while back, and I just didn't care for it. How much do you value Reject? Which card is Reject? Is there a card actually called Reject? Because if there is, very low, apparently. But heated debate is exciting for me, too. Okay, now I may need to be a grown-up, because there's a burn in books. Reject is the bad Essence Scatter. I don't value that very highly at all. It's like, I could take the Tome Shredder here, but I'm literally forcing Lorehold at that point. Whereas Bury in Books is pretty dang good. Yeah, and here's a Divide by 0. So I think we're just straight up in Prismari, and we'll see which of the Prismari cards wheel. Which is not an unhappy place to be. We could basically we'll be looking for something like Serpentine Curve as our finisher, and looking to pick up little derpy things like Curate. I don't hate an introduction to Annihilation, but I think we are going to be potentially interested in an Aerialist to, like, finish games. I'll play Reject in a deck like this. I don't particularly want it in blue-green, but if we're getting Serpentine Curves and that's going to be our finisher, I'm more interested in it. The only finished game I've ever heard of was that Summer Car one. It doesn't matter that much if it gets cut the other direction, gamer, although you're right. But if it's open this way, that means I get 2 packs of it, and anyone that went into it downstream is only getting 1 pack of it. So if they're smart, they'll notice that I'm cutting the heck out of it now. And get out! And we're not that far away from swapping into Lorehold if, like, good cards come by for it. Because literally everything we've picked would be good in Lorehold too. Finish games for a day. I think that would excite you specifically. I don't know how much the rest of the audience would get into that. So we did wield the Study Break and the Spirit Summonings, which are things I thought we were going to want. Now that we're here, though, I kind of just want the Prismari Campus, as I feel like this is sort of what we're going to do. We've got a Pillar Drop Warden and an Arcane Subtraction. I want both of these cards. All of the blue is splashable. It is, but it's also not something we would want to splash. My guess is that it'll be easier to get a Pillar Drop Warden later than a Subtraction, but I definitely want one of these. I've played this a few times and been pretty unimpressed with it, but we could. I don't want a 3-mana counterspell. Now, we talked about Reject earlier. This is where I start to get interested in it, because I don't have any 2-drops. And we would value the first Serpentine Curve very highly, but if I don't have any 2-drops and I can just pretend that this is a 2-drop, let's get it. It may still get edged out. This pack kinda sucks. For us, I think there's decks that would be interested in Killian and Mage Duel predominantly. I have not played Double Major. It is unlikely that I ever will. I think the best card for us would be the Campus Guide. It gives us a 2-drop. There's times where we could be on 6 lands and wanting to be drawing the 7th. Ignis doesn't really fill that role. This also does open up a possibility for a splash, which I like quite a bit. Ignis is not the discount I want. I want Spectacle Mages or a Muse or 2. I mean, that's certainly splash worthy. We've also got Burying Books, though. Yeah, the question is, like, why are we playing blue? And I think Prismari was open enough that we're interested in that. I should be able to take this and wheel either Curate, Pop Quiz, or maybe Fractal Summoning and be happy. So I think we're going to go for Bury here. Piggy Storm is okay, but I also want an Environmental Sciences, but we've kind of sort of put ourselves in a position where I really need this first Serpentine Curve. Let's get this one going, because I think that's going to be a big part of how we're potentially winning. Because now cards like Curate are ones that we're actively interested in, and something like Opt. This isn't a busted Prismari deck yet, but it's starting to look like it has potential. Now, this Rise of Extus has me a little concerned. I can't really imagine a deck that's going to be capable of splashing that, which makes me unhappy. But as a Night Gamer mentioned, we may be cut off of Prismari in this direction and then hooked up in the last pack. At least we should. We've got 1 Divide by 0. I'd like more. I don't think I'm legitimately likely to play much of this. I suppose I could make an argument for an Archivist if I get a ton of card draw and am scared of milling myself out. Now, Negate I would probably play quite happily, But I think with the Cackle and the Elemental Masterpiece and the Bury-in books, the Spectacle Mage deserves a spot in this deck. There's some chance that I'll see another one, but I think the first one's pretty valuable. Usually I like Biblioplex Assistant in this style of deck, but I think I need to take the Expanded Anatomy. I've already got 2 spells that are going to allow me to learn, and there's situations where this can be incredibly powerful. I might see another Biblioplex Assistant, but I'd very much like to get access to various lessons. And this could be a good one. Like, I've killed people out of nowhere with this. This isn't exactly the deck for it, but you're usually pretty happy to have it there. Yeah, this is a fine 2-drop for us. So here's the thing. I've mentioned this before. This is the card people won't take. So Lorehold wasn't exactly open, but people still won't take this deck. It's fine. We can take the Pledge Mage and be pretty happy. I need a few more spells or this curve isn't going to do much. Like at this point, something like Curate would be nice. I can probably play the Ignis now. There, we got a Curate, and I'm actually actively interested in it. I don't think I'm interested in a Stone Rain, but it's gems. I mean, basically, yes. So it could potentially let us turn 5 Masterpiece. It's not a great card, but we can play it. And we still could have had a decent Lorehold deck. I'm not going to play any of the rest of this, and I don't really think there's a world where I'm splashing for Rise, but Ignis does not have built-in protection if they try to remove it. I'm pretty sure this is sorcery speed, right? Yeah, so there's literally no interaction there. I don't think we're super likely to play either of these, but if I was going to play one, it would be this one. All right, so this doesn't have much for us. We're especially looking for spells and not getting them, but I'm happy to play a Frost Trickster. It is a little frustrating that it's the only blue card in the pack. But if we drafted correctly, we've identified what's actually open and should get past Prismari spells from here. I think I actually want this Opt more than I want the Spectacle Mage, which really seems crazy to me. Our colors should seem dry after that pack. They should seem incredibly open this pack. There's some option to take the Aether Helix and splash for it, because the cost would be putting literally one forest in the deck. I don't need any more creatures. I've already got plenty of creatures. But I think I'm looking for cards like Opt and Curate and one more Serpentine Curve to fill out this deck, which is not usually what I'm thinking about. Like, I think we could play Solve the Equation here, but if I pick this, we've actually got a strategy for the deck, which is kind of what we were looking for. So we could take another Masterpiece. We could take Start from Scratch. I mentioned people won't take Divine Gambit, and they won't, which is funny. Kelpie Guide, I think, could be quite good, but I really just need to make sure we maximize the spells here. So I'm thinking about Mentor's Guidance versus Elemental Masterpiece versus Spirit Summoning. We wield the other Masterpiece. There's some chance I could do that again, and I've already got 2 expensive spells. Even Spirit Summoning is fine here, but I think I'm going to take the Guidance. I'd rather have a pop quiz, but we're not getting that. This one's between Outburst and Annihilation, I think. I think I'd like to have the Outburst, but if I take it, I have to cut something. Is there anything here I'd be happy to cut? Probably this Aerialist. That's not really part of our plan. Arcane Subtraction certainly could be. But it's again asking for another cut, which I'm not opposed to finding. And this gives me an excuse to take another lesson if we see one late. The Ignis could get tossed. There's my late lesson. I think I'd prefer Test of Talents to Reject, but this is pretty nice. Yeah, Reject doesn't seem great either, so we could look to be cutting this if we can find an upgrade for it. It is something we can do early, though. Well, Aerialist has the bonus of it can fly. Flying is pretty dang good here. There's a serious lack of reach creatures in the format. Yeah, I think Test of Talents would be better, and so would the Negate we passed. But ideally, we cut the Reject and play one more spell. But, like, let's trade this in for a pop quiz and be done. This kind of is one more spell. Reject instead of Reject. Yeah, I guess that's my accent creeping in. I think this will kind of work if we don't see anything better. I'm just taking this on general principle. Although, interestingly, we could probably play the wall here. I don't think I want Letter of Acceptance. And I certainly don't want Spell Satchel, right? No. It's an uncommon, sure. Solve the equation? That's an interesting one, because like we'd always get to Serpentine Curve. But I don't think I need it. Hey, neat, another lesson. There you go, Hunter. We got a Dragon's Approach. I don't think I like it in the Prismari decks. So the learn cards we have are 2 summonings and start from scratch and an expanded anatomy. And I believe we have 3 cards to fetch them in Academic Dispute, Arcane Subtraction, and Divide by 0. Like, if Spell Satchel just tapped for colorless mana and then had all that text, I think it would be good. But the fact that I can't even do anything with it until after I've cast a spell is what's making me a little nervous about it. Like, it is a 2-drop, which is not bad, but... Or if, let's say it was 3 mana and tapped for colorless, I think it would be better. All right, I've been holding Stream Raiders hostage for a minute. Let's do that. Ooh, there's an update. Okay. Well, I guess we'll do the update. And that can update while I fix this mana base, because that clearly needs to be fixed. Curate is exactly what this deck wants, Calc. We're looking to get a lot of spells in the graveyard, slam a giant fractal, and kill them with it. If I had another Curate, I'd cut something else for it. Potentially the Soothsayer Adept. Do I have enough of these to just do full arts? I'm 1 short. That's a real shame. That makes me sad. I need to get 1 more full art land from somewhere. Because that is the ultimate in mismatched lands. I hope this update was to add dungeons for everybody, because the Stream Raiders dungeons was a lot of fun. I really liked that. It looks like it was just for some versus stuff. All right. Let's do our battle. Looks like you can convert them things and get friendly robots. I didn't quite understand that in the beginning. Can they convert it back? Looks like it. It's fine. We still gonna kill them. 'Tis early game. The bone shop is up now? That's pretty cool. So you guys can spend all the bones you got in the dungeon runs. I will at least be using that between rounds for things like the Sweatsuit Invitational. Wizard with the kills, Mosif with the assists, rewards for my favorite person, Simwife, and we Wizard. All right, y'all get your units placed, and we'll see what we can do with this Prismari deck. I think it's got potential. But what if you divide by 0, tooltip? Did you ever think about that? That's a start I can appreciate. We can even play our fractal token for 1. That's kind of a big deal. I don't mind locking down a land for a turn. That seems pretty cool. No ramp for you. So we can make their Amplimancer trade, which I kind of dig, before it becomes an actual threat. We don't want to give it reach. I think I'm okay with that, and then I could hit Environmental Sciences into Campus Guide. Did I not get an Environmental Sciences? That makes me unhappy. Well then, okay, do I want Expanded Anatomy? If this is a 5/5, they'd have to block it with everything. I think I'd be comfortable with that. So, change of heart. I was convinced I had one, so I'm kind of disappointed that I didn't. Should probably look before we cast them then. That's the sort of little mistakes I was talking about that were punishing me here. If you want to trade these, I'm cool with it. trying to decide if I want to bury that or not. I think I do. Wow, that's unfortunate. They did make my serpentine curve better, which I like. They also shuffled away my land, which I'm less excited about. This Zendikon was great. A 1/1? This is what you're doing? Why would they play a 1/1? So we're pretty far away from 7 mana. But not that far away from 7 mana. I guess they played it because they want to trade these, which is fine by me. Mine's bigger. But a lot of golden scrolls, presumably. Ah, that's why you do that. Fine. This is awkward. Because I don't really want to cackle their forest, but I think I'm in a spot where I need to. I could discard one of these and then look to stabilize with the other one next turn. But I think just having this forest gone makes me happy. Or they'll drop it like it's hot. So I could just turn this into a 7/7. It seems pretty good. Okay, a 6/6, fine. That's still pretty big. And land. Neat. Dang it, Bobby. I keep trying to get ahead and they just won't let me. Curate ain't gonna save me here, neither is Creative Outburst. So that one's just donezo, which is unfortunate. I thought we were ahead there for a bit. And then we weren't. Didn't the season just reset? I thought it did. Am I actually not gaining rank? Moto, what you doing? I'm Mythic 0, and the season ends in 30 days. I probably need a restart, eh? Why are you like this, Moto? I don't understand. It's not even Moto anymore, it's Arena. Esports is ready. Like, I wasn't doing great in Strixhaven, but I didn't think I was Mythic 0%. That was a little scary. There we go. Cosmetics for sets that are gone and... Okay, sure. Alright, so now we can play. And what is my rank now? I'm Platinum 4. Okay. Well, there's gems in them. I would have liked cosmetics for this set, because like after the set's done, I don't typically play with the old cards anymore, but it's not like I was going to play with a runestone very often anyway. Alright. Which is a good cat thing. Does it really matter what we get? Not a lot. I don't see a reason not to opt now. Yeah, I mean, we want to keep hitting land drops. Asmina's Guidance not looking so hot right now. Spirit Dwarf. I think I kind of just want a 4/4. Although I could blow up... Yeah, let's just blow up their artifact. That seems handy too, because that'll get annoying. Six mana? I'd like to be higher than 6. I think I'm supposed to just cycle this and try to hit the land drop. Which kind of sucks, but it is what it is. And what it is a 3 mana opt. This is kind of awkward because they're going to be able to play that and equip it. But I think I'm supposed to take the 5 off of that so I can make sure I get back the burying books. I may not be able to do that. We may just be dead again if I don't draw another burying books. How big is their fractal going to be? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I could sort of handle it. If I draw a 2-drop. No, that still won't even handle it, will it? But I can just pop this and bury it in books and go to 3. Not excited about that. But it's probably our best bet. The worst part is I can't cast the other Pillar Drop Warden, and now they just don't attack with it. But it'll be okay. I have to basically set 3 mana aside for the rest of the game, which I don't want to do. I wanted one of those. We're also incredibly weak to a counterspell. Like, if they counterspell it, I'm just dead. Why not just bury there immediately? I don't know. This is awkward. Too many things I have to find. Not entirely sure that Divide by Zero is going to help me much here. These Quandrix decks are pretty good. The Pendant's looking really good for them here. So we could get a Spirit Summoning, which doesn't really do much, an Elemental Summoning, which doesn't really do much. I think we're just dead. I don't see a line out of that. We could draw a card, but I can't think of anything I can draw that'll stop 4 damage. If there were instant speed lessons, we'd have had maybe something there. Yeah, we could have fired it off anyway. But like, yeah. So I guess my concern about having to hold the 3 mana up was kind of irrelevant. That's again that my brain has heuristic to that as this is 3 mana assassinate, and it's not. I don't have a removal spell that would kill something that big. Alright, that's a keeper. Needs to hit an island. I suppose even with another mountain we could play. But that's better. I'm trying to decide if I want expanded anatomy to block or the spirit summonings to block, and I guess I'd rather have the spirit summonings to block. Especially if we get to keep hitting land drops, that's great. Because the whole point is just get spells in the graveyard, and that's starting to do it. We've played Quandrix all day, haven't we? I do think Lorehold decks are a little better off against them because you can just Rise of Extus, whatever the big thing they're trying to do is. Less. It still doesn't make them bad, but certainly less effective. We're pretty far behind right now. Yeah, I'll take a turn and get my critters out. That's fine. I do need to dig for lands. But I feel like if I can hit one land, the Dust Speaker will find me the rest of them. At least hopefully he will. That could find me some lands. No, thank you. We need land. Thank you for the land. It did give Kaldheim packs for the first Strixhaven season. It seems a bit silly to me, but we'll take it. It wasn't the first Strixhaven season, it was the last Kaldheim season. Well, there you go. They're going to bury this, so I don't want them to draw a card off of it. Finally got there. Look at us moving on up. Platinum tier gaming. Is it just platinum and then mythic, or is it platinum, diamond, and mythic? I can never remember which is which. Diamond. That doesn't answer it. Is diamond after platinum, or is platinum after diamond? Platinum, then diamond. Okay. We got a ways to go is what you're saying. That's fine. We can go a ways. Play, then Fishman. That sounds like a good stream title for me. I knew what you meant, yeah. This hand probably wants to burn that outburst, doesn't it? I think it does. With two of the serpentine curves, it almost assuredly does. I know at 700 we want to consider the cat onesie as an option. I'm not sure past that, Techno Shaman, so advice is certainly welcome. Because we're going to be mega streaming starting on the 3rd. So I haven't written the goals down in stone yet. So if you guys have any ideas about the subscriber drive, would love to hear them. Finish Games. Finish Game Fest is on the menu. That's not very nice. Hot tub stream? Unlikely. But I'm planning on working on some of that over the weekend. What do you guys think would be good rewards? Like, I've got my pad and paper. So if you guys can think of anything, like, I know I want to do the cat onesie. How did you feel about expanded hours when streaming? Because that seemed... A pin was actually on the floor. That was something I didn't mind. Like, 24-hour stream back on the menu. Not opposed to that either. No, I'm not going to set low expectations. Especially not when viewership's been way up. I should keep some land for looting, but I'm also kind of interested in scrying. I don't think we quite need to scry upkeep here, but we could consider it. The last thing you should do when setting goals is set incredibly low goals. That's why it's tiered. So if we hit any of the goals, it's good. There's a secret to it, right? The secret was we didn't have to hit the top goal for me to be good. So I'm pretty comfortable setting the numbers for the goals, Thangarth. I think what I could use help on is some things that you guys and gals would like to see. What would be hype? Is extra stream time hype? Is 24-hour stream hype? I think we take a wild draw here. It's either good or we move along. So I can do this now and smack them for 12. That seems pretty good. "24 hours was fun. I think I want to do that again, and that will be like the big end goal. So like if we hit that one, cool. If we don't, I don't have to stream for 24 hours. Are bong hits off the menu? They are for me. I don't smoke the marijuana. And honestly, substance abuse is like, or use is not really something I want to promote anyway. Do our Stream Raiders battle. Expanded hours were nice. The 24-hour stream was not bad when I planned for it. I could do it. Stip drafts, draft with viewers. I hate stipulation drafts. And back in the day when I used to consume a lot of Magic content, I would immediately turn off any stream that had a stipulation draft. Simwife has appeared on the stream before when she was playing Magic. She's not now. And I find it a bit degrading to have somebody... I've seen some other streamers that will have somebody come on and draft who doesn't know anything about Magic. Like, and let's appreciate that the only time Simwife and I have played in a PTQ, she beat me. Like, frankly, it would be funnier to have me pick the cards and her play it. But I don't like that conceptually. Yeah, stipulation drafts are chat making me draft a bad deck on purpose. I've always hated watching people do that. Simwife with the kills, Mike with the assists, rewards for a Night Gamer, Rex Monday, Wee Wizard, Cosmere Dragon, and Orcish Artillery. Yeah, I have no problem with you partaking. I have a bit of an addictive personality. I was addicted to cigarettes for a long time. I smoked over a pack a day for nearly 20 years. But yeah, that was always the limiting factor on the Chaos drafts is people, it was tough to get the sign-ups, right? But I'll do those anyway. You ain't got to pay for that. I had set up something where like I designed the cube, the Semulin cube as a reward, and we never hit that one. Well, I mean, I promote Wegmans Diet Ginger Ale. That's fine. But I don't think most people want their children to tune in and see somebody drinking alcohol or smoking anything. Right? Like, not that it's necessarily bad for you to do. I still drink on occasion. Not often, but I do. It's just not something I want to be part of my content. So I'm not judging anybody that does those things, and I do some of those things too. I just don't want to stream it. But just because I'm poo-pooing your ideas, please still give me more. Infinite power. I think that's against the Twitch TOS. And also just not really something I would want to do. Yeah, I don't think anyone actually wants that. Full day of chair drafts? I don't think I would be able to do that and maintain my sanity. Do I want a 2/2? I don't really want a 2/2. I want to hit a bunch of spells and go off. Because we're kind of in trouble right now. I've done a couple chair draft socks where I just let it auto-pick all the cards. I'm not entirely sure why, but people seem to enjoy that. I guess I want a 2/2 now. That seems like a weird stipulation draft. Like, I'm not sure what that would be fun. I don't think there's a way to play two-headed giant currently. Is there? Again, I'm taking a dump on a lot of great ideas you guys are having. Please do not take that personally. Yeah, like, I've seen that too, Ancient One. There's a streamer that I like a lot that has... Hey, Phoenix, thank you for the resub. 3 months of subscriptions. Heck yeah, Phoenix, thank you very much. Y'all spam some cats for Phoenix. Thank you, my friend. There's a streamer that I like that has a points reward where she will eat something she doesn't like. And I'm like, I don't understand that. I don't want to redeem that, and I'm certainly not going to do it. Thank you very much, Phoenix. How did you find the stream, if you don't mind me asking? Here, I'll engage in the cat spam myself. Yeah, I never understood the idea of dunk tanks either, personally. Like, it just seemed silly. Recommended channels. Heck yeah. Glad to have you here, my friend. That is the best ephemerate I've ever seen. Well, see, that was the thing I didn't mind doing. I was thinking about doing that anyway. That's actually the secret. All of the things that I've done on the stream were things I was very comfortable doing. I wouldn't have put it up there for a goal if I wasn't okay doing it. Like, there comes a certain point where you're getting bald enough that you need to consider old guy with the ponytail may not be for you. Right? And the 24-hour stream, I was nervous about it, but I had a suspicion that if you actually planned for it, instead of just randomly deciding to do it, that you could do it a lot easier. And turns out you could. There were 3 hours of it that were particularly difficult, and it was around the time I normally went to bed. A makeup stream? I wouldn't mind doing that, but I don't know what I'd do. I can put on eyeliner. I used to do that when I was in a band. Karaoke stream? I'm a terrible singer, and you can't do karaoke on Twitch anymore. They got rid of that. Cooking stream? I can't really cook anything. I could tune up the mandolin. See if I remember any old Irish songs. If I bounce that, are they dead? If I bounce that, are I dead? Well, I guess I would bounce this, and then they would block here and take 8. They would take lethal. Okay. Yeah, that seems pretty good. If I do expanded anatomy, does that just kill them, or does start from scratch just kill them? Because they could block here and take 7, 8, 9. Yeah, they're already dead. Unless they have specifically Lash of Malice, in which case they would take 7. Which means I would want expanded anatomy here. Where you drink out of an old shoe? Yeah, that strikes me as the things I'm not going to do, right? Like, who in the world thinks that's a good idea? I'm not interested in demeaning myself or torturing myself. Sorry. Huh. I think I'm still on let's get the commons, because I'll see those most often. Let chat vote on a game for me to play for a day. See, the problem with that is anytime I stream something that's not Magic, my viewership tanks. And I've actually got a little RPG that I'm thinking about trying out this afternoon, and I can prove it to you. As soon as I fire it up, nobody's watching. So I feel like letting chat vote on a game for me not to play. Dungeons did decently, but I was one of 4 people that was allowed to stream that, right? Well, I don't play standard, or I don't really play constructed. Like, stuff like that's interesting, but I've never played Pokemon. I might enjoy it for all I know, but I've never played it. I think I was, like, basically in this awkward spot of just barely too old enough to get into it when it first came out. Ever play on-rails shooter? Never played that. Donations against stipulation drafts? Like, if you don't donate, I'll do a stipulation draft. I need something cheap I can play. Spirit Summoning looks like it fits the bill here. Yeah, I hear you, Socks, but that's all some sort of stipulation draft. These are all fancy ways of saying do a stipulation draft. I don't want to do a stipulation draft. Yeah, we've done a lot of those. All of the Chaos drafts are playing against stream viewers, and anybody can play in those. Finish the Sim Cube and draft with chat for a day. How many people would actually be interested in that? I could see a chat that is built around a personality like Caleb's doing well in that. I just hate it. And that maybe that's grumpy old man stuff. I don't think I can afford a creative outburst here. This is the one-drop aggro deck our mama warned us about. That could be interesting. I'm wondering if I start from scratch and take out the ingredient, or play the curve first. I guess curve gives me more options next turn. I suppose if they've got Professor's Warning, this is a little awkward, but they appear not to. Subscriber drafts. He set up a lottery for subs. He'd randomly draft with one of them and play one game with them. So like I would help coach somebody through a draft. Is that what you mean? Because I could see that being interesting. That's actually not a bad idea. Like a coaching lotto. I could see that being interesting. I'm trying to decide here if I need to curve or if I need to guidance. And I think I need to guidance. I do want one land. I don't want two. But I get two anyway. I could see that. That's pretty good. I've done coaching sessions before. This is not a foreign concept to me. I also think we're getting run over here, so I'm glad we're having a good conversation. Yeah, it would be screen sharing. My one question was, though, did Sam do that while streaming? Because sometimes that can be awkward, but, I mean, you just have to work with it. Yeah, you've got to worry about that too. Because I've had situations where I've had people on as a guest of the stream, and we did not click, and it was awkward. And then I've had other situations, like with the Mana Leak, where I feel like we had great chemistry. That doesn't approach anywhere near what I want to do with Magic. I don't think we want to scry on upkeep, because we've got to play for next turn. We could just scry end of turn. I don't think we're going to draw anything better than an 8/8. We're pretty much dead to them hitting a spell, which I don't care for. But I think I like that idea. There's a possibility we do want to scry upkeep here, but we're just dead if they have a removal spell. So I'd really prefer that they don't. I like that idea. See, we found one that I like. But my goal is to be a streamer, not to be a Magic coach. Okay, we're dead. For fun, if we had scryed upkeep, we would have hit what? Oh, I can't even scry now. Doesn't matter. Well, YouTubers, that's going to do it for this one. Not quite as exciting as I was hoping for, although I do feel like I'm doing better at Strixhaven. We've had some 7-win runs. As long as I can hit 3-3, I feel like we're at least, you know, sticking even. But I'd really like to get it where we're consistently hitting these 7s. I could have committed to Prismari a little harder earlier, and I think that would have been good for us. But I was still exploring that Lorehold strategy. And it's still worth noting that I did see a Lorehold Excavation and a Divine Gambit in that draft, and people won't take them. But I appreciate y'all watching. If you'd like to watch the drafts live, you can do so at www.twitch.tv/Semulin. Chat, say goodbye to YouTube.